Versatile Mage. Chapter 37 Experience outside of the city. I guess that after you've tasted the benefits the Stardust magic tool will bring you, you will helplessly want to go and collect the spiritual essences. When a quarter of your school time has ended, we will bring you outside of the city for 2 months of practical experience. When the time comes for you to meet a real magical beast, you will forget about the idea you have today, Mrs. Tang Yu said. Practical experience. Mo Fan had never heard of this before. Was this possibly the legendary high school military drill? Every magician needs to experience this day. We don't nurture magicians so they can stay home and live like princesses, nor is it for you to compete against one another. It is for you to stand off against magical beasts during crucial times. The practical experience is a significant test of the student's temperament, Mrs. Tang Yu explained. I will treat this seriously. No, Tang Yu said, the practical experience isn't an exam. I only wish for you and other students to calm yourselves when you encounter a problem and ponder how you're going to survive it, she said with earnest profundity. After Mrs. Tang Yu said this, she turned around to leave. When Mo Fan was about to ask for more details, he realized her curvy body had slowly merged with the area where the moonlight didn't shine. A heartbeat later, there were no more traces of Tang Yu. Mo Fan was able to see everything very clearly this time. She really merged with the darkness. Her entire being disappeared as though she had never been there. Mo Fan hastily jumped down from the dam and poked his head out from the railings of the roof. What shocked Mo Fan was that Mrs. Tang Yu had gone from the roof of the 8th-floor tall school building to the ground, treading with slow and light footsteps toward the teacher's dormitory. The gloomy moonlight stretched her shadow out, making her look like a proud night fairy. As Mrs. Tang Yu entered the shadow of a messy tree, she suddenly disappeared once again from his line of sight, and he was no longer able to find this mysterious female teacher in the dreary night. Just what kind of skill was that? Out of all of the elements that Mo Fan knew of, only the wind element was able to use wind trail to move swiftly. That fact alone made Mo Fan think it was amazing, but Mrs. Tang Yu used magic that he didn't know anything about. It practically let her enter the shadows to move swiftly. That was just too cool. I wonder when I can learn this. Speaking of which, this Mrs. Tang Yu didn't seem normal. According to the rumors, one would have to reach intermediate level magician to awaken a second element. In other words, Mrs. Tang Yu was at least an intermediate level magician. No wonder Mrs. Tang Yu was able to surpass so many other qualified and older practical teachers. For most people, an intermediate level magician had already reached the peak heaven level. It seems like Mrs. Tang Yu is actually a very thick thigh. I will have to hold onto it tightly. Did you hear? After our quarter of cultivation time has ended, we will begin the magician's practical experience. What is the magician's practical experience? Basically, we're going to the areas outside of the city. No way, ever since I was a child, I've heard those areas have magical beasts that eat people. I'm not going. You have to go. This practical experience is related to our admittance to university. It is the equivalent of a very important subject. It's just practical experience. What is there to be afraid of? We're magicians. Even if we were to encounter a magical beast, we can just use ice spread to freeze it into an ice statue. However, I heard magical beasts are really strong. Didn't the magical beast teacher always stress about how we should never face a magical beast by ourselves? Just like what Mrs. Tang Yu said, after the end of their quarter of cultivation time, they immediately welcomed a cruel practical experience. If it went as planned, they would meet a genuine magical beast. There had always been a magical beast class, and for who knows how many years the teachers had been talking about them. However, the students had never met a genuine magical beast. Even if they secretly watched a video of them on the internet, there was no difference between that and watching a Godzilla movie. This time, the students would finally get to meet a genuine magical beast. As soon as the news spread, it could be said that the entire school began to discuss this matter. The practical experience began with the elite class. All of the students in the elite class were basically able to control 7 stars after the end of the annual examination. Currently, it had been more than half a year. Thus, every single one of them should be able to expertly control their elemental skill. The school would let the students who could grasp their magical skills participate in the practical experience. If a common person were to encounter a magical beast, they wouldn't have any ability to retaliate. Time passed by quickly. Mo Fan relied on his little loach pendant to cultivate his lightning and fire stars to more than 5 times their original levels. He was able to cast both lightning strike and fire burst skillfully. He was now able to practice fire burst openly in school, and thus the casting speed of his fire burst had gotten even faster. Roughly 3 seconds was enough for him to cast it. As for lightning strike, he would need about 4 seconds. Currently, most of the students in the elite class would require 5 to 10 seconds to use a magic spell. Thus, Mo Fan was far above them in terms of spellcasting. The entire elite class had a total of 100 people. They would be divided into 5 groups with roughly 20 students in each. There would be a teacher with them, as well as 2 other military instructors. Every group had its own bus. Thus, the 5 school buses began to drive toward the outer areas of the city with groups of young magicians. The place they were going to this time had more or less been decided. They would be going to the Snowy Peak Mountain Station. The Snowy Peak Mountain was an important goods stronghold for the hunters of the Hunters Union and Bow City. The entire stronghold was constructed in the middle of a valley. Do you remember when I told you that the stations in Bow City's surroundings are the boundaries of the safe area? The areas outside of the stations may have a magical beast appearing. Thus, before you have the abilities to face off against a magical beast, make sure you never step out of the safe areas or else you'll become a pile of skeletons. The magical beast teacher, Zhang Jianguo, told them strongly. That's right, within the area of the station, we, the Hunters Union, the Magic Association, as well as other large ancient families, assign someone to patrol daily and set up warnings. There will definitely not be any magical beasts entering the residential areas of humans. However, the capabilities of us magicians are also limited. Thus, the only places we are able to protect are within the boundaries of the stations. We are powerless outside of the stations. After all, even if we have stronger magicians, we are unable to eradicate the magical beasts hiding under all the complicated and difficult terrains, the 3rd Hunter Group's captain, Luo Yunbo, stated. Luo Yunbo was a tanned and very handsome man. After the girls in the groups saw Captain Luo Yunbo, their eyes began to sparkle. It was like the girls were worshipping and infatuated with the handsome military instructor. Luo Yunbo was the military instructor guiding the team this time. The assistant military instructor was a woman named Pan Lijin. She was a tanned, capable, and vigorous type. There was a huge difference between her and the female magicians from the campus. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.